Welcome to another deep dive. Today, we're embarking on a journey way back to ancient Greece.
Yeah, fascinating period.
We're looking at a really, truly towering figure in history, Hippocrates of Cos, often called, the father of medicine.
The title gets used a lot, doesn't it?
It does. And our mission today, using the great source material you sent over, is to sort of unpack his legacy. Why were his ideas so revolutionary? Why do they still matter?
Absolutely. It's hard to really grasp the scale of the shift he represents without looking at what came before.
Right. What was medicine like before Hippocrates?
Well, it was often deeply tied into religious beliefs, superstition. If you got sick, maybe a god was angry, maybe it was a curse.
So healing involved things like prayers.
Rituals.
Exactly. Temple visits, prayers, maybe charms. Hippocrates started pulling medicine away from all that, grounding it in something.
Yeah.
Well, observable.
Okay, let's get into that transformation. Our sources say he was born around 460 BC, island of Kos, came from a family of physicians. His dad was one too. That's right, Heraclitus. So there was a tradition there. But Hippocrates, he really took it somewhere new. He didn't just inherit practices, he questioned them.
So what did he do specifically? What earned him that father of medicine title beyond just being a doctor?
Well, he essentially shifted medicine from those rituals and beliefs to a more systematic observation-based practice. That's the core of it.
Observation.
Yeah. He argued that diseases weren't, divine punishment. They had natural causes, things you could actually study and understand.
And the school in Cos.
Right. He founded this renowned medical school, and there the emphasis was all on careful examination of the patient, taking detailed notes, recording symptoms,
Okay.
and crucially, prognosis, trying to predict the likely course of an illness. That was a huge step.
Thinking ahead, not just reacting.
Exactly. It moved the focus from appeasing gods to understanding the patient and the natural world.
That sounds incredibly modern, that focus on observation. But then there's the humoral theory, this idea. 4 humors.
Right.
Blood, phlegm, black bile, yellow bile.
Ah, yes, the humors.
That sounds, well, a bit strange to us now. What's the significance there? It doesn't sound very scientific today.
Okay, yeah, this is where it gets really interesting. The theory itself, the 4 humors, obviously isn't current science.
Right.
But its importance. It was one of the first major attempts at a rational explanation for why people get sick.
Instead of just gods.
Exactly. Instead of blaming unseen forces, Hippocrates proposed an internal mechanism and imbalance of these fluids. And from that came rational treatments.
Like what?
Well, things like diet changes, exercise, maybe even purges or bloodletting, all aimed at restoring that supposed balance. It wasn't prayer, it was intervention based on a theory, however flawed. It was a step towards physiology.
So even if the theory was wrong, the approach was revolutionary, trying to find a logical cause.
Precisely. It forces us to think about what scientific means in different historical contexts. For its time, this was a leap in rational thought.
Got it. And then there's the oath, the Hippocratic Oath. We still hear that phrase constantly.
We do.
What was its core message? Why has that stuck around for so long?
The oath laid down these incredibly powerful ethical guidelines for doctors. It was about setting a standard for how physicians should behave.
What kind of standards?
Things like beneficence actively doing good for the patient, and non-maleficence, maybe the most famous bit, first, do no harm.
Ah, right.
Plus confidentiality, maintaining professional integrity. It wasn't just rules, it was about building trust. This ethical foundation profoundly shaped Western medicine, influencing education and practice right up to today.
So, putting it all together, the scientific approach, the humoral theory as a rational attempt, the ethical oath. He really did change everything.
He did. His teachings, which were gathered in what we call the Hippocratic corpus, about 60 medical texts, spread these ideas.
Corpus. So like his collected works.
Or works attributed to him and his school, yeah.
Yeah.
They emphasize observation, prognosis, natural remedies, the body's own ability to heal, the core idea. Health depends on understanding and working with nature, not against it or through magic. That was the revolution.
And these texts were used for centuries.
Oh, yes. They were the bedrock of medical education for a very, very long time.
It's amazing. His work is still a cornerstone, especially in ethics. Shows how powerful some ideas can be, even ancient ones.
Absolutely. And that holistic view he had, considering environment, diet, lifestyle, that's echoed in modern preventative medicine too. He was way ahead of his time in many ways.
Truly stood the test of time. So here's something to think about. What foundational ideas, maybe centuries old, in your own fields or interests, are still shaping how things are done today? Perhaps without us even realizing their origins anymore.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.